The first thing that you need to do, assuming that you've put a lot of hard work into your Instagram account like I have, before you make drastic decisions like moving your entire focus to another app or deleting your account, the first thing you need to do is not panic, don't react, and just decide what it is that you want from the internet. Remember that there are some accounts that are actually doing really, really well. And if you're someone that likes producing lots of short form content and making lots of videos, then actually Instagram is a really great place and all of the negativity just doesn't apply to you. But let's just assume that, like me, you do like sharing photos and you're feeling completely unseen and you're thinking it's time for a change, then yes, you need to diversify, and let's get into how you can do that. So time is a funny thing, okay? When you're thinking about where you need to focus your time day to day, it's a very good idea to focus it on one thing. However, when you're thinking about where you need to invest your time, in the long term, it works much like financial investments, where it's a good idea to spread yourself out, to diversify, to not put all of your eggs in one basket. Now, many people have invested all of their time long term into Instagram, and it's not working for them anymore. And that's a real problem, and we need to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So what we really need to do is decide what we want from the internet, and that's a very personal thing. So you need to think about what it is that you actually want to publish, what it is that you want to get back. And then you need to think about the tools that you have available online, and you have to pick the right tool. And that requires a mindset change, okay? Stop thinking about social media platforms as places and think of them as communication tools between you and the people that you actually want to communicate with. My dad always used to tell me that if a job is difficult, I'm probably using the wrong tool. You need to make sure that you are using the right tool. For example, right now, if you want to share photos, Instagram is not the right tool. If you want to share short form video, Instagram is the right tool. So for example, for me right now, I want to share videos just like this one, and YouTube is the right tool for that. I will then use Twitter to have quick, snappy conversations with people who have decided to come over from YouTube to have those conversations with me on Twitter. I'll share insights into this YouTube channel and more casual stuff. And I think I'm probably going to move my main photography sharing activity over to Vero, because that's a great tool right now for that job. But most importantly, I'm not giving up on Instagram. If anything, I see this as an opportunity for me to probably share more kind of casual images to my feed, because my main photography is now going to be on Vero. I've cared too much about the aesthetic on Instagram for too long, and I see this as potentially an opportunity for me to post more regularly, stuff that I'm doing, stuff that Instagram is actually a good tool for. So what I'm really saying is there are lots and lots of places for you to communicate online. You need to think about why you want to communicate with people online and how you want to communicate it. Then pick the tools that are good for those things. So pick tools that are good for the way that you feel passionate and the way that you want to work. Then, once you've done that, you need to find a way to reconnect with all of the people that are following you on your current platform, and you need to try and bring them over, which is a very difficult thing to do. But the first thing we need to think about is if you've been inactive on Instagram or less active on Instagram, it's very possible that you've fallen out of the feed of all of these people that followed you, so they won't even see the posts that you're saying, hey, I'm also over here, or I'm posting videos to YouTube now. They won't even see those posts. So it's time to kind of re-energize or reactivate yourself on Instagram. And this doesn't take a huge amount. It only takes a few really good, engaging stories for you to start reaching those people again. It's much harder to do it with posts because it's a slower process. Whereas if you're posting some really great, engaging stories, it's a much sort of quicker process to connect with these people. If you want to be communicating with people and telling them to go somewhere else, that shouldn't be the first thing that you communicate. You need to start talking about things that people really care about before you start telling them, hey, by the way, I'm on these other platforms. And I can explain this with a really quick analogy, okay? Let's say you've gone to see a band and that band plays the whole set, it's great, everyone really enjoyed it, and then they say, hey, we're going to go next door and play that exact same set again. Who's coming? You know, some people would go, but the vast majority be like, hold on, I've just seen that, I'm all good. Whereas if the band said, hey, we're going to head next door and do an exclusive Q&A for everyone who was at this gig, I think they're going to get a whole lot more people heading over there because they can see that there's something different and something of value over next door. So when you're trying to get people to move platforms, explain to them why it's different or what's happening over there that they're not getting right now. Because if you think about it, if your main reason for moving platforms is because lots of people aren't seeing your posts, the people you're communicating with are the people that are seeing your posts. So there's really no reason for them to move. And you really don't have to overthink this, okay? For example, you could use my analogy directly and say, hey, I'm going to do a Q&A over on Twitter, so come over and say hi. That's something that people can't get on Instagram. Or you could say, I've decided that I'm going to post most of my photography over on Vero and I'm going to focus on video on Instagram. That means that people who want to see your photos are going to need to come over to Vero. And then you passively drop this into your conversations, reminding people that you are in other places, but crucially, why they should go and see those other places, not just, hey, do you want to see the exact same thing I'm doing on Instagram on another platform? Because why would people do that? So in short, I think Instagram is sinking, and if what you have built is valuable, then it's time for you to salvage what you can, and don't go down with the ship. You can protect yourself by 1, thinking about why and how you want to communicate online. 2, looking for the platforms that work well with the way that you want to communicate and the way that you're passionate. Number 3, reconnect with your followers if you've been inactive and make sure that they're actually seeing the stuff that you're putting up. Number 4, give those people a really good reason to follow you elsewhere. And in my opinion, don't give up on Instagram just yet. There are too many great people over on Instagram still sharing photos that inspire me, and for me, giving up on that platform is also giving up on those people, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to diversify and use Instagram alongside lots and lots of other things, just like I have been for a while. And this is me practicing what I preach. I will leave a link to all my main socials in the comments below, and I know that a lot of people are going to ask, which platforms should you choose? I do have a video on this, but I think a better way of doing it would be if you head down to the comments and leave the 2, 3, 4 platforms that you use or you plan on using, so that everyone else can scroll through and see what everyone is doing. That's the kind of the power of community. I'm looking forward to seeing how you will use the internet, and I will see you in the next video.